on Zoom's page. Yeah, and then do it. Cool. Okay, it's working. It's thinking about working. I'm just gonna make sure it is on my
Always
phone.
when it doesn't feel like it's working, right?
I know. Oh, there it is working.
Yay.
Okay, here we go. Yay! All right. I'm going to change the view so we can both be seen. Ta-da. Ta-da. All right. Yay. Okay. So, hello, I'm Emily Otto, Rebel Incorporated. You are in my free Facebook group, Business Coaching for Rebel Healers and Spiritual Entrepreneurs. And I am here with the absolutely freaking fabulous Katie May. And we wanted to go live and talk with you guys about embodiment in business and what the hell that is and why it matters, and hype up Katie May too, because she is not only an amazing client and participant in the Rebel Mastermind, but she's also going to be offering you guys juicy embodiment sessions throughout our time in the mastermind this round. So I'm super stoked because it's so important to feel good and not good and integrated and like fully human in our businesses. And I think you do that fabulously, both as a leader and leading by example, and as a teacher, guide, priestess, facilitator as well.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, I'm a little choked up actually. Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually was having some thoughts just before our call started about about going live in a business coaching group and saying like what I believe about the importance of like incorporating our embodiment practices into the building of our business. I had a couple of imposter syndrome kind of thoughts come up that were like, am I successful enough in my business to even be able to talk about this? And yeah, I am.
Yeah.
And also, yeah, I am, for sure. I am. And also like it's sticky sometimes. And I have to ask myself that over and over and over again. And one of the things that I really loved about the last round of the mastermind and I'm looking forward to again is this space holding that happens. Like there were definitely some times that I used my little chunk of time during the group coaching call, not to like ask about what to do about my like technical stuff, which is actually an area that I would love to improve in and be more knowledgeable in. So instead of taking my, 7 minutes or whatever it was to ask questions that would be like technologically helpful, I just would like come on and cry like this sucks and I hate it. Like running a business is hard. And being held in that, being able to be seen in that and being able to like express that was what I needed more than knowing how to figure out an email mailing list at that moment. Like what I needed was just like a place to be myself, to be in the middle of this like whole human experience and to express that. And so for this next round of the mastermind, I'm excited because the embodiment practices that I'll be offering, like the embodiment sessions that I'll be offering, we're going to start out with a little like round of check-ins just to see like how everybody's feeling, and not even necessarily about your business, but about just how you're feeling that day. Because the thing is, our relationships with our partners affect our business. Women with kids, especially, that affects your business. And so like, I think often we try to compartmentalize, like, in this moment, I'm a businesswoman, and in this moment, I'm a mother, and in this moment, I'm a lover. But the reality is that we're all swirling amongst all those things. And I think the importance of being able to be seen wherever we are and like move that through our bodies is so important. We can think positive affirmations all damn day, but if we're not moving our bodies when we're frustrated and triggered, we can spin in our hamster wheels round and round and round, and that shit does not go away. But when we drop into our bodies, let ourselves be seen, and then drop into our bodies and move it, that that is where we can let some stuff go. That, and in the letting go, we make space for what wants to come in. And I know for me, there have been times where I have been trying with my brain to figure out what my business needs next. And I get my oracle cards involved. I got my pendulum going. I can't figure it out. Till sometimes I have to like just give it up completely. Go for a walk, go outside, shake it all off, come back to pleasure. And then usually that's when the clarity comes.
What I love about the way we both operate is that your full human gets to show up to the party. Like we are not the it's all love and light and happiness kind of people. Like we are happy and love and light, yay, but also you can bring your dank, dark, stinky shit and it's human too, and it's all okay.
Yes. Yeah. And try and that like dark stuff isn't there, and like maintain this like high vibe, good vibes only kind of stuff. It's not sustainable and it's not real. And like, let's make space for all of it. And then the joy is so much more embodied, and the pleasure is like real, and it's sustainable.
The sustainability, I think. So we touched on a lot of things. The really important part of like when you're building a soul-driven online healing arts business, yeah, your relationships to yourself, to your partner, the thing that happened to you when you were in 8th grade and you weren't invited to the birthday party, like all of that comes up. And I think so often in this online space, we see all the bright and shiny, and it's like, oh, there's no room for that here, you know? And then we make ourselves wrong for it of like, well, I don't feel like having a business today and I want to burn it down, instead of normalizing it and be like, yep, every Monday at about 10 o'clock, I want to burn my business down. And that's when I know I need more water and I need to go outside.
Yeah. I think there's also something really beautiful about like a group container that like, and being with that energy together and moving that together and making space for all of it, and seeing like, I know there were moments when I was struggling that I was seeing women like doing okay or even like succeeding and celebrating. And sometimes, if I'm honest, that was a little bit hard for me to take in because I would be going into like, why am I not there yet? You know, and then there were also other weeks where I was feeling great and I was feeling lit up and I just signed a new client and somebody else is struggling. And that's the other good thing about a longer term container is that sometimes we got to show up and be like Debbie Downer and this whole thing sucks and I want to burn it down. And then to be like, then also there's medicine in like being it up next to share and like, actually things are good for me right now. And sometimes that can be hard to share because you don't want to like rub it in, but then also the necessity of sharing it anyway, because it's what's real. And the longer term containers help us to see that like we all go through this, like eventually everybody comes around to want to burn it down, and everybody comes back around to being like, I'm doing this. And it's just like spirals.
The beautiful spirals, right? And like, yeah. I have an almost sold out practice and a successful business, and it's making money and it's fucking working. And there are still days where I'm like, none of it's working. I'm just going to burn it all down. Like that still happens. Okay. And yet my brain catches it in 2 minutes. I'm like, adorable. Here's what we're doing instead. Thank you so much, brain. I hear you. Thanks for trying to protect me. Here's what we're doing anyways.
Mm-hmm.
And that over time component is so important to normalize it and be like, oh, things work at different times. People sell more or differently, or yeah, there's periods of like wanting to burn it down and wanting to build it all up. And there's big months and small months, and there's the regulation in between. And the sisterhood is what I love so much about masterminds and about this one in particular, because I built this before ever participating in one. I just knew that it was important. And I knew that it was the key to moving the needle for women in online healing arts businesses is this sisterhood, this like, I don't know, let's figure it out together and build it and keep going.
Hmm. Yeah, it was also good for me too to have women who I could kind of see behind the scenes being in the same place that I was in terms of like facing down the imposter syndrome, having to figure out what the hell do I do and how do I articulate it, and also like having success and being able to kind of see where I fit in amongst all that. That actually has helped me with like my pricing structure. Sometimes I see other women who are struggling with the same things as me and offering things of like similar value, charging more than me. And it's kind of like triggery. And there have been times where I'm like, what the fuck? How come she can charge that much? But then there's also this element of like, well, shit, so can I, which is and stuff. But that's another part of the magic of like being in a group container is I feel like sometimes when you're just getting one-on-one and your coach is like, trust me, this is worth $1,000. I'm
Right.
like,
Okay. Yeah.
Like, I don't know that I could spend $1,000 on this right now.
Yeah.
Couldn't afford that right now. So to charge it feels like a little bit like, oh, but then, yeah, being in a container where everybody's like figuring this out together and being able to, I like kind of want to say compare, but then I hesitate with that because I don't want to be like comparing myself to other women, but also, I mean, we're all doing all of that, right? Can we be real about the fact that we're all comparing ourselves to everybody else? And circle that where I can see behind the scenes that these same people are struggling with the same stuff or like succeeding in this realm, where maybe I could use some extra work and then I'm doing well here. And I've had trades with other women in the mastermind. I think there's been at least like 3 or 4 really great trades. And I've actually, someone's taxes tomorrow in the mastermind. And then when tax, I'm going to help her out with tuning into her body.
Yay.
We all have these different things that we specialize in, both in our, like, sometimes for some people, they have like their 9 to 5s that they're kind of getting sick of, but also there's value in
skills. Totally.
Yeah. And being able to like trade all of that, is
That's
really
awesome.
Yeah.
I love the wild chaos in a container. Oh man. I went to Burning Man in 2017 and ended up meeting up with this guy that I was super into. And I realized he was not going to be a man I could have any type of long-term relationship with when he said he loved the chaos of Burning Man, but he wanted to like experience Burning Man in a box so he could control all of it. And I was like, oh, we're not a good fit.
That's not how this works.
That's not how the beautiful, chaotic magic of like this divine feminine experience we're having works. It's not it. And that's what I love about the mastermind is like, yeah, there's pillars, there's a structure, there's coaching. And each woman brings her unique flavor and essence and experience on any given day. And they each post what they want and show up with the questions that are on their hearts and show up having a great day, having a terrible day, having a meltdown, crying, screaming, happy, sad. Like it's all welcome and a-okay and perfect.
Yeah. And you've helped me get back to that a few times of like celebrating what is working and acknowledging, even because sometimes I can be so quick to look at what isn't, and holding this space for celebrations and even just acknowledgement of what is working and what is worthy of celebration. And another thing that I love is like, speaking of this like chaos and we're all doing it differently. I hear you often, like I'll be like shooting on myself. I should do this because Emily says I should do this and I should do that. And then I always end up coming back to like, yeah. And also Emily says I get to build this business however I want. And I know I've actually, I talk about this in our one-on-one call in a little bit, but like, I have realized like, I'm not niching. I'm not going to niche.
Great.
And like, right. And, but I'm like, but Emily says I have to. And basically everyone says I have to. And I'm like, no, I don't have to. Actually, Emily says I can build this however I want. And so maybe it's going to take a or whatever, but this is what I want. And I'm seeing it's possible. And also like, I see why the niche is important. And I see why the container is important for like the craziness to flow in. And so I've actually found a way to kind of like create a little bit of a container without feeling this like pressure to niche down. I'm like expanding into mythology.
I would also argue that you know your niche. Tell me what you do. On the spot.
There's a felt sense of belonging in this world. Belonging in our relationships, belonging on the little piece of earth that we exist on. And I know that is my niche changing again for like the however many times, but also I belong here right now. I've been working on belonging in my own life, my whole life, belonging in the body, belonging in this little chunk of earth. And when I get more specific on like which programs I'm offering and who they're for and whatever, like that's
fine. And what I love about the way you operate is you don't let anything stop you. Because you're still putting content out there. You're still making offers. You're still getting clients. They're still paying you. It's still working.
Yeah. And sometimes it's like taking a little longer than I wish it would, but also, I mean, this is part of life, right? Is like moving through these anticipatory states of like really longing for something. My client this morning had been like really longing for something for a while, and now it's here. And there's this moment of like, sweet, it's here. And then we're instantly into like, okay, what's next? Looking for what is next. And like letting that be part of the human experience instead of like always needing to have the whole thing all figured out. By the time we figure it out, the next thing to be figured out is revealed to us.
Yes.
And that back to like embodiment is that sometimes again there's like we can be thinking things through so much, and then it's usually we finally get our ass to yoga, or we finally sit on our meditation mat for a few minutes and actually like just observe our thoughts instead of churning through them, or we share how we're feeling in a circle of women, and then I put on some music and we all dance and move what's there and get out of our heads and back into our bodies, because our bodies always know what to do, when to do it. The thing is, sometimes it looks like rest when our brains are busy. Sometimes it looks like pleasure when we think there's so much else that we should be doing, but like our bodies know. And when we tune back into that wisdom and move from that space, that's where the real magic comes through. And it doesn't mean that we're not frustrated. I'm still kind of constantly frustrated with my business, but I know that the more and more I can come back to my own body, the more I will be able to build a business that not only works for me in the long run and helps a lot of people, but also I think this kind of work, actual embodied work that honors the feminine, is so desperately needed on this planet as an antidote to the colonization and capitalization that has been wreaking havoc on our relationships, our nervous systems, our justice systems in the world. Like there is so much that is so messed up about the economic systems that we're coming out of that have us thinking that we have to slave away to just get by and then like heal a little on the side. No, our healing is our business. Taking care of our bodies, taking care of our families. This gets to be our business. And it's challenging sometimes because we're in this place of, we're in between the old economy of slavery and the new economy of pleasure and creativity. And there's friction there because we're humans and we decided to come here and be here for it. And the friction is what keeps it exciting. And I'm here for it. And I love that like every other woman in the mastermind is here for it too. I know you're here for it. And yeah, it just feels really good to be part of all of that and to be able to, like this time around, to facilitate some of that with my magic. And I love that you have Michelle doing calls with like goal setting and setting goals and setting up action steps to get to them, which for me feels like a very masculine, beautifully masculine approach to like, this is what I want. Here are the steps that are going to get me there. Totally. And then I'm going to come to the embodiment piece that is like, this is what's going on. Coming back into our bodies without a plan. And that's the receiving. That's the feminine, that's the woman manifesting. That is like resting back and listening to what wants to happen next, instead of thinking that we have to know the plan and we have to know the steps, which is great too.
We get to have it all.
Right. But the listen to our bodies and to the wisdom that is there is a huge piece, I think, in helping all of us to co-create a more like ethical and sustainable economy that does focus on and reward healing, empowerment, instead of slavery and all that old shit.
Yeah, there's so many structures to dismantle and do differently that I can feel like you're fighting a losing battle all the time when you're by yourself doing it. Yeah. And I think it's so nice to be surrounded by other like-minded humans of, oh, you're doing this thing that the planet really needs and you're trying to do it in a different way than has ever been done before. Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
And it's going to be clunky and awkward and weird, and you're going to want to throw in the towel and burn it all down. And yet we come back to that desire again and again, right? Like, but I want a business and I can taste it and it's right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is a bit.
I'm really, really excited to have you facilitating the embodiment of the women in the mastermind and their businesses. And we can run in circles on the brain thing all day long and trying to puzzle it out, right? If we just think about it in the right way, we can solve for X. But so much of it can feel way easier with embodiment and way more integrated, less second guessing ourselves all the time.
Yeah, because there's a difference between like figuring out something up here and then receiving something from like way down here. There's a knowing that comes from our pussies that like amount of this can ever access.
You can't think yourself through to embodiment. That's not a thing. Yeah. I love that. Okay. Is there anything else we should share with people while we're here?
Maybe just like a deep breath down into our pelvic bowl.
I love that idea. Thank
two.
You guys for watching. We've been embodied, so I have not been keeping up with the comments, but we will after this call.
Yeah. So maybe just taking a moment to like notice first where the air is filling your lungs, just kind of naturally. Mine's up in my chest because I'm all excited. And then see if we can bring that down just a little bit deeper, down into our solar plexus, down into our bellies. Maybe inviting in a little bit of movement if that wants to happen, or still nothing right now. Mm,
Mm.
yeah. And then letting that be enough. We did it.
We did it. Yay.
This feels great.
Thank you for doing this live with me and for rocking and rolling with it. Guys, I have 3 spots left in the mastermind. That is it. On Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Our kickoff ceremony is this Sunday at 1 p.m. Send me a DM if you're interested. If you want to work with Katie Mae directly, send her a DM to inquire about that. Yay. That's all I got.
Yeah. Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mm.
Let me see how to do things. Here we go.